We've recently just had the King's Birthday Honours list, and when you think about it, it's one of those things that really does divide everybody, doesn't it? You know, I think the worst one, I have to say, that got a lot of attention for all the wrong reasons was this one, for the Mayor of London. That's right, now known as Sir Sadiq Khan. And as I told you, how he was very disrespectful to His Majesty the King, because then he went on to talk about their private conversation, which again is rather disputable. You know what it's like. But of course, way back in time, to receive an honour from the royals was truly something magnificent. But there was one particular Hollywood star that I was told from an excellent source that Her Majesty the Queen, the late Queen Elizabeth, why, as you know, I thought was brilliant, well, she could not believe that this particular Hollywood legend didn't receive the accolade that she truly thought he should have got. As ever, let me explain. Chums, lovely to see you today. Thank you so much for your time. It is a funny thing, isn't it, the awards? I've told you, I would just think it would be the icing on the cake. You know, if you've got that career, you've done very well. It's a bit like Elaine Page, she's been made a dame. Thrilled for her, you know, because she's worked in theatre, entertained, brought a lot of business into London, all thanks to those big hit shows like Evita, Anything Goes, Chess, Sunset Boulevard, and that's really what you've been recognised for providing the entertainment and for being a global ambassador on the world stage. Now, when you think about it, you know, you could say, well, what exactly has Sir Sadiq Khan done? That's up for debate. But this particular man, that's right, the brilliant actor, the late Richard Burton, well, he certainly did do a lot, didn't he, for, well, the world stage. He also made films very colourful, and as we know, he had one of the most tempestuous sort of relationships on and off screen with the late brilliant Dame Elizabeth Taylor. Now, I met Elizabeth Taylor very briefly at the Victoria Palace Theatre and Richard Burton when I'd first arrived in London, very, very young, let me tell you. And she was appearing in The Little Foxes at the Victoria Palace, and it was just, you know, a thing that she wanted to do. She did it on Broadway to great success. The reviews weren't great, but even the sparkling presence of the late and beautiful and very young Princess Diana simply couldn't turn the box office around. And Dame Elizabeth Taylor, of course, became a dame many years later. Now, Richard Burton was a particular favourite with the British monarchy because they just loved his style of acting. In fact, I've been told that one of the favourite films of the Queen Mother and Queen Elizabeth to watch together was the really brilliant VIPs. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a wonderful ensemble piece built around the relationship of Elizabeth and Richard Burton, set in Heathrow's International Airport. It's a very clever film because it's a capsule of the time. Now, if you remember also, Queen Elizabeth, when Elizabeth Taylor was very ill at the making of Cleopatra, and she was in what is now known as, of course, the Royal Hospital, well, she sent along her own personal physician to make sure that everything was, well, all that there could be done to try and save Elizabeth's life. Elizabeth Taylor, that is, of course. And, you know, they formed a very good friendship, which I mentioned in a previous video. And she was very supportive of Elizabeth Taylor, as she was Richard Burton. But according to Elizabeth Taylor, and this is fascinating because I was talking to shall we say, an elder Hollywood actress recently, and this is apparently what Elizabeth said, that she blamed herself for the fact that Richard Burton never received a knighthood because it was back and forth for many, many years. You see, in the 1970s birthday honours list, he did receive a CBE from Queen Elizabeth, and she was delighted, thrilled to honour him with it. But she did point out that at some point she felt he would become Sir Richard Burton. Now, Richard Burton always played this down and said, no, 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 you know, and many people suggested it was their tabloid sensational relationship of the early 1960s, all thanks to the time of Cleopatra, etc., that really, so, you know, spoilt those chances. But of course, Queen Elizabeth was on the throne many years down the line, and sadly, we lost Richard Burton in the 80s. But according to her source, that was a great sort of, sense of loss that she was never able to offer that to one of her favourite actors. And it's a rare insight, isn't it, into the fact that, well, clearly, you know, she has certain people that she would have wanted to bestow this upon. As I say, when you look at the start of this video, you look at the people that have received it now, and there are many, many fine people that deserved it. But of course, certain people you look and think, well, what on earth have they actually contributed? No disrespect to Claudia Winkleman, but she's the host of Strictly Come Dancing and a reality show called Traitors. Suddenly, she gets an award. It's hard to define what for. As for the Mayor of London, we'll park it there, but you get the picture. Now, do you think that he would have sounded a lot nicer as Sir Richard Burton? And do you agree with the late Queen that it was a shame that it never finally happened? And more importantly, do you also wonder, could it have been the fact that they were tabloid sensations in the early to late 60s that actually put a kibosh on that, with all the institutions that were around at that particular period? As ever, please do let me know respectfully in the comments box below, and if you can, please like and share. Neil Shaw, Hyde Park, London.